My name is Chloe Louise Wood. The date of the recording is 20 October 2022. The helpee is named Leslie Nolte. The approach to be used is person-centered counselling theory. Good morning, Sarah. We last saw each other in March. Thank you for reaching out for a further session. In March, you were telling me about how your relationship was with your family, and we worked through some issues, and at that point you were happy to carry on with no further sessions. You felt like you were in a position to come back should anything occur, and I'm so pleased that you've got in touch to speak with me again. Can I, before we start, just get you a glass of water, Sarah?
I'm okay, I think, thank you. Yeah, I'll be fine.
Right, Sarah, would you like to tell me in detail about what is concerning you?
Yeah, this is really difficult to explain. I'm not even sure I'm going to explain it correctly to you, but I'll do my best. I've just not been feeling myself lately. And it's in everything I do. It's like I'm a different person completely. And everything seems to have changed. And the way I look at life has changed. It's like there's a black cloud over my life and everything's so negative. My feelings are so negative. Oh, I feel really down, and because of that, it's like the joy from life has completely gone. That sounds dramatic, I know, but it's a contrast. How I used to be and how I am now, it's just total contrast. That's all I can describe it as. I've always been such a happy person. Everybody used to comment on that. And now I just feel like sometimes I might go to something or be somewhere or with someone, and it might seem to them as though I'm that same happy person. But I'm just not. I'm pretending to be happy, and I get away with it. I don't even know if anybody else has noticed. But I know myself, and I know the rest of the time, every single day, I'm just a grumpy and unhappy version of myself. It's really not like me as a person. I always used to be so happy, as I said, and even on bad days, I knew that was just then, and they were just the odd day. And it didn't happen a lot. But God, now it feels like it is every day. I can't see any way around it. I can't see any escape. It feels so like I'm always going to feel sad. I'm stuck in this really sad, low mood. It's just a fact, and it's affecting me every day, in every single thing I do, at every single time of the day. And some days just lie in bed in the morning. I just think, here we go. another day feeling the same, another day of this unhappy existence. It really feels like such a miserable existence. I used to always want to be out and about. It didn't matter what I was doing. I didn't have to make the effort. It was just natural to me to get up, think, oh, I do this. And I'd never just stay in the flat without making any plans. But things have changed. Recently, I've just been sitting in, not even contacting anyone, not trying to arrange anything with any of my friends or family or anything, not trying to do anything at all, not even the simplest things. Dan goes out and I just stay home. And I don't think, well, what shall I do? I just sit there. I put the TV on and I sit watching TV. Or not even watching TV, or even when the TV's on, just feeling sorry for myself.
You're feeling down and not joyful, and like you're not yourself. You've told me that you feel like you were always going to be sad, and that you were stuck in a low mood. How long would you say that you've been feeling this way?
Well, it's probably a couple of months now. I've been keeping it to myself, but that hasn't helped. It's not changed a thing, and I thought I need to talk things through. I was just feeling more and more sad about things. Thinking about it, I think my partner Dan is probably the only person who, he must be aware of it, as I've been around the house more and not feeling like I want to do very much. I never suggest anything because I lack energy. I just don't feel like making plans with anyone. And last time things helped so much when I spoke to you and let it all out. So I knew that if I booked a session with you, we could talk about it, and that might start to make me feel better like it has done before.
Speaking about things is always a positive start. Can I ask, Sarah, why did you start feeling down?
I've asked myself that a lot, and at the end of the day, it always comes down to, I think it started when I moved departments at work. I think we talked about how I work for an insurance company, and I work in a big office in Manchester, and I love Manchester. And I've been there for quite a few years now. And I've probably said this to you, I'm the type of person who always really relied on routines. I'm a very routine person. I always like things to be the same, and familiarity really matters for me. And I had that in my old team, and every day wasn't the same. Every day's different, but the routine was still there. And in my old team, I got to know the people I sat near to, and people who I got on with quite well. I still do speak to them, but it's just not the same. I've moved now to a different team, and so that connection's kind of been lost a bit. We sit on the opposite side of the same office, the same floor, but they're involved with their team and their colleagues, and I'm on the other side. And again, it's like I'm an outsider again, and they can't be part of this new routine. Even my new desk feels weird. it's facing a different way, and that sounds so stupid. As I said it, I thought that's stupid. But I'm just not used to the way it feels to be sat differently. I was really used to the old routine and the people I sat near. And even though it's the same office, I feel like a fish out of water. Sorry. I've actually had a promotion in pay as a result of moving to the new team. But I wish I'd never applied for the job. I didn't realise at the time the changes that it would involve. I thought, well, I'm going to be in the same place. I can see my old team. We can still have our relationship. It wasn't like that at all. It was like starting all over again, having to get to know people again. Everyone else has been on the team for some time, and so they all know each other quite well. Moving really sent me out of my comfort zone. And that's when I think I started to feel down. I'd wake up not wanting to go into work, which I'd never done. And then it carried on after work. It wasn't just the work environment anymore. It spread and I started to feel down generally.
How do you think you could feel differently about work?
Oh, well, I've asked myself that question, and at first I thought, should I ask to move back to my old team? Because I was quite settled there. But I know deep down that the solution wouldn't be to move back to that team. I couldn't even do that if I wanted to. As they obviously had to replace me, and the replacement is now settled in, and it would be such an awful thing to do to them, and I don't even know if it would work if I did that. I actually think I need to make more of an effort with the people in my new team. I keep my head down when I'm in work and there, and keep myself to myself. I know that's really bad, but it's kind of like instinctive. I've not felt very social recently anyway, but I thought that was normal at the start, because when I realised the amount of change involved, I thought, well, it'll work out. It'll be okay after a while, and you'll get to know these people. But it's been a couple of months now, and I still feel the same. And they're still strangers to me in a way, even though I knew them before I even took up this position. But there is one girl who asks me sometimes if I'd like to go for tea after work. And I keep saying no. And that's because I'm so down about everything. I don't think I'd be very good company if I went for a drink or something to eat. But then, speaking now, I suppose if I accepted, I might feel like I had a friend in the new pod I'm sat in. Well, she is really nice. I don't really know why I said no when she asked me. It was just like I said. I think because I felt so down. She's about the same age as me, and I already know that we like some of the same things from little conversations. I could imagine us being friends, but as I am now, I somehow feel really nervous about making that initial contact in case it doesn't work. It's almost like I'm a child again. And I just don't have much confidence in myself at the moment.
That sounds like a great idea to go out with your colleague. How could you go about it?
Well, she's always asked me before. This is the difficulty. But if I'm going to do anything about this situation, maybe... Yes, I think I'll message her tomorrow. We have a work chat, so I could send it on there, and I might feel more comfortable with that than just asking her. And that way, if she does say no, which she might, because it's possible everyone hates me. I don't know, but I could try that. And if I do that, I won't have to be face to face with her when she says no.
Sarah, are you okay? Would you like some water?
Yeah, I'll just have a sip, thank you.
What has happened to make you think that everyone would hate you? Has anyone told you that they hate you?
No. No, that seems so ridiculous, doesn't it, when you say it like that? No, nobody said anything horrible at all, and certainly not that they hate me. No, they haven't. They were all very accepting and nice. They've all been nice. But maybe I wasn't giving the right responses, making the right effort. And so even though they have all been nice and still nice, I think they've stopped trying a bit with me now because I've never said yes to anything. I don't mix with them in breaks or anything. I do think I'll feel differently once I reach out to my colleague. And if she does say yes to something and we get on, I think I'll start to feel that I'm becoming part of a team. And yeah, like I said, I feel awful now. I do realise it sounds silly saying they all hate me. I know that they don't, or probably don't. But when I feel so down, I just get these thoughts. And they pop into my head, telling me that maybe people dislike me because I don't like me. So how can they? And consequently, I feel like I don't fit in because I've not got anything to build on in this new team because I've been so aloof with them all.
Okay, so when you start to have a negative thought like that, could you try to replace it with a positive one? Something like, I'm going to make friends with my team, or I'm a likeable person.
That seems so difficult at the moment, the way I feel about myself, but yes, I'll try to do that. And going back to what I was saying, once I've made friends with Alice, who's my colleague, I do think that it will help me to mix with the others in the team too, because she knows them all really well. I think they've all worked in that team for about 2 years together. So, I do think that will help. And it's no wonder, really, because they've built quite close bonds that I do feel a little bit of an outsider, but maybe I can change that. Also, at Christmas, they all arranged to go out together. So I feel like if I'm more comfortable in the team because I've got a friend, I'll feel more comfortable in going to that Christmas party if I have already made friends with someone. And not a reason to go, but it is all paid for by my work, so it's a really good opportunity to gauge everything and a social occasion to get to know people outside of the works environment.
So you feel that becoming a part of the team more will help you, and you're going to message your colleague and try to arrange something. I'm hopeful that will lead to you going to the Christmas do and feeling a bit more like you're part of the team, expanding those relationships with those colleagues. Now, is there anything else that you could do to brighten your mood, Sarah? I think you mentioned previously that you enjoyed going to the gym, and I think it was in particular that you enjoyed going swimming. Is that right?
I do. Or rather, I did. I am a member of a gym, and it was important to me. But I've just not been going. It's all part of this general feeling of no energy, not wanting to go anywhere, not doing anything. And it's such a waste of money not to go. I used to get up before work and go then, or sometimes I'd go afterwards. I even used to enjoy going sometimes on a weekend if I had no plans. I was quite empty on a Saturday night, which was good. And sometimes I'd go to classes, or I really enjoyed swimming, as it was really relaxing, and afterwards I could sit in the jacuzzi. The classes I liked then were the spin class and the step class. And the instructors in both were really great at making you want to join in. It was all so positive. If I had a bad day at work, I'd enjoy going to the gym and taking my mind off it. I'd also see the same people sometimes, and they'd talk to me. No obligation, just because they wanted to. And I enjoyed the social side of things too. At the moment, I'm just staying in my flat, feeling bored and like I don't have any energy to do a workout. And then I look at myself and I think, you need to do some exercise, and I feel fed up about my appearance and my health.
Why don't you try and start going again?
Yeah, thinking of it, I think I will. I think I can make that effort and see how it goes. Because I really do feel better when I've had done exercise. When I go swimming, I feel so refreshed. As I have a shower and dry my hair at the gym too, and that makes me feel so much better. Gets me out of the house and out of bed earlier too if I go in the morning. I used to find it really energising to start my day that way, and I wish I'd not stopped going. I'm definitely going to sign up to some of the classes on the online app. And then I'll also add some mornings maybe. I feel so much more positive thinking about going. And talking about it has reminded me how much I enjoyed going to the gym classes. I have felt bad about not going too, as I've still been paying my membership and it's not cheap. If I do go, then I'll feel like I'm not wasting the money, and that might be more of an incentive to carry on and work at it.
That sounds like a plan. So you're going to start taking some time for yourself to get some exercise and do something that you enjoy, swimming, and going to the gym. You felt like you used to feel energised when you went to the gym. Is there anything else that you would like to talk about that's been making you feel down?
Well, this is probably all part and parcel of the same issue. Me feeling so bad about myself, but I don't know that, so I'm going to say it anyway. You might be able to help me a bit with this. I've really been struggling, as I'm not sure whether I want to end my relationship with my partner, Dan. I don't know whether feeling down has caused me to feel this way. I just don't feel the same way as I used to. I feel as though maybe, well, we're just such different people. And I ask myself whether we'd be happier with different people, certainly whether he would be. I feel under pressure to stay with him too, because my parents and friends all think he's really lovely. And then on the monetary side of things, we've built something together, and splitting up with him would be really difficult because we own a flat together. But at the end of the day, my feelings have just totally changed. I'd say particularly in the last few months or so.
You say that your feelings have changed towards Dan. What is it that makes you feel this way?
Oh, I just feel that we're on totally different pages. Dan works with his friends on a building site, and then he spends time with his parents and his workmates after work, going to a pub or somewhere. I got a job in Manchester, and when I was feeling more like myself, I really enjoy going out in Manchester, going shopping, going for nice meals, going to the cinema. Sometimes he goes out on his own. I don't blame him, but I'm feeling so down. I just wish he wanted to spend more time with me instead. But I get it. Who would want to? We've always been opposites, but there was always a lot of chemistry. Now, I just feel like the spark has totally gone from the relationship. It's hard to explain, but we're like flatmates. I don't think that we can just get beyond this. I don't see how it's going to change. I don't see how me changing anything can alter the fact that we are so different. And sometimes I feel really awkward around him. It's not like being with a friend or a lover or a partner. And I don't feel like suggesting things to do that I like, because I don't think he'll want to do that. There's such a chasm between us. I almost feel he doesn't really want to be with me, and he doesn't want to spend time with me. He seems so happy when he spends time with his friends and he comes home. And I can tell he's had such a good time, and then it's a downward slope then when we're together. And he must feel that. He must think, well, why am I here? Why would I stay with this person when I'm having so much more fun with other people, even my parents, when I visit them? When he visits them, I'm sure there's nothing like this going on. So it's fun. It's light. And when he comes back to me, the darkness is there again. And then, well, I've got to say this. We're never intimate anymore. In any sense. The intimacy's just gone. He doesn't even sit close to me. We sit on separate couches. We turn different ways in bed. He doesn't sit close to me or hold my hand or kiss me goodbye when he leaves. and we sit together to eat. But sometimes when we sit and eat, we're just on our phones. It's like an escape from the reality that we're sat there together. We don't even have anything to say to each other. We don't have a laugh like we used to, or make plans together to do things. In fact, I can't remember the last time we were silly or playful together. And the awful thing is, that makes it so hard to speak in this reality, is that I always saw my future as being with Dan. And now I'm starting to wonder whether it will be with someone else or anyone. I've never met anyone else that I like, though. Not like him. Not like it used to be. I don't think he would ever be unfaithful to me. And so I'm absolutely sure that no one else is involved in how I am feeling.
Have you spoken to Dan about how you're feeling?
No, we haven't spoken recently about it. Not recently. But we did have a conversation quite a while ago one night. And it was a conversation. It wasn't an argument or anything. And it came out of nowhere, but quite naturally, I think. It wasn't a forced thing. I didn't say, we need to talk, or he didn't say that. But I don't remember how it started, but we were talking about how totally different we were. And we don't really enjoy the same things. I might have said, like, I love hot summer holidays, and he'd be happy with a trip to the lakes. He loves things like that, and adventure holidays, anything that's not just sitting and sunbathing and enjoying a hot climate. I don't really enjoy that. And clothes, I like designer things, I like expensive things that, so long as I can afford them, I prefer to buy something special and designer that I can have for a long while and feel good about. I don't like fast fashion as such, and I'd never buy things on a whim. But he likes just his normal old clothes, his old jeans and T-shirts that he's had a while, but he feels comfortable in. He likes comfort dressing, I suppose you might say. But that night, it wasn't an argument at all. It was just, well, he said this, I said that. We never argue or bicker. We still don't. But now we just seem to live quite separate lives. And it feels, or I feel, like we already both know that we're not supposed to be together. But nobody is saying anything like that. Oh, it's awful. I just don't know why things are so different to when we got together.
Would you like to take a minute, Sarah? Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. It's hard to explain that why it seems so different. But we certainly aren't communicating about anything. It's as though we're just getting on, we're going through the motions. We do everything that we need to do. We get up in the morning, go to work, come back, eat, sleep. And that's about it. We just get on with life. I don't even think we check on each other and how we're feeling, or we certainly don't check with each other before making separate plans. He might just say, oh, I'm meeting the lads later, is that okay? And I'll say, yeah. And I'm not making any plans, though, so it almost feels like it's just him avoiding spending time in the flat with me, and I understand that. And I sometimes feel that if it weren't for the flat, then he would have moved on now. He wouldn't be with me, and he'd moved on and would be able to meet someone else that was more suitable for him.
So you're feeling like you've got different personalities, different interests, and you don't really have anything in common. What was it initially that made your relationship work?
It's hard to say, isn't it? I mean, what makes any relationship work at the end of the day? I see other people and I think, well, wouldn't have put those two together. But it works. And I know a lot of couples that you'd never think were attracted to each other or could make it together. And I suppose that's why when we met, it was just an instant attraction between us. We met in Manchester, did I say that? He'd been dragged into Manchester by a friend. And as I said before, he doesn't even like to go. He doesn't even want to go out there. He's not really a city guy. And not like me, I love it. But he was at the bar we were in, and we got chatting quite by accident while we were waiting to be served. And, nobody had even said, oh, look at that guy over there. And I'd not even registered that he was there. But we got chatting about nothing at all, really. And I couldn't believe how lovely and gorgeous he was. He asked for my number after we'd spent all night together at the bar, just chatting and laughing, and it was so nice. I didn't think about it. I never thought, oh, I'm going to marry this man or it's all going to work out. It was just so natural. And then he messaged me the next day, and I still couldn't believe it. I was like a schoolgirl. It was like a teenage dream. I just clicked with him, and it was just the same when we were texting. I didn't care that he liked such different things, and I really liked him. I liked him so very much. And after initially meeting up and realising there was a connection, we saw each other all the time. And we were always so close to each other. Well, from the very start, we just really enjoyed being together. And we did such crazy things. We sometimes didn't even have to plan things. We just would go somewhere, meet up and think, what should we do now? And it didn't really matter what we did. If he said, shall we go for a walk? Or shall we meet up with someone? I'd say yes. Or if I said, shall we go to Manchester tonight? And I knew he wasn't keen on the idea, but he'd say, yeah, let's give it a go. We put the other person first back then. And we'd be happy to do things that weren't in our comfort zone. Dan used to be so romantic sometimes too, and we always seemed so connected. He'd do little romantic things like bring me a little gift because I'd mentioned I liked an author, or a certain type of sweet, or something silly like that. We'd do such romantic things for each other. And I'd send him messages when I knew he'd be on his break, and it all seemed so natural, it just worked. And then time went on, and we were together all the time and really enjoying our relationship, being with each other. So when he asked me to move into a flat with him, we set that ball rolling, I didn't even have to think twice. I was so excited. It really was as though he'd asked me to marry him, although he hadn't, of course. And that didn't bother me. I didn't want to get married to him. I just wanted to be with him. I couldn't wait to be able to see him every day, and wake up with him every morning, spend all our days together. It makes me feel really sad to think about it back then, because we were just so much in love. I always knew that he was so different to me, really different to me. He was really different. I was really different to his usual type. He wasn't my usual type. But it just worked. And then everything went through, and we moved into the flat, and we were giddy. We were just so giddy about choosing the furniture and making plans for the future. And when we first moved into our flat, it was just so lovely and effortless. I just remember sitting at night cuddled up to him on the sofa. I felt like it would always be that way. And I think we used to compromise a lot more, certainly more than we do now. Despite all the differences and our different likes, at first Dan would take me out for nice meals or buy me gifts, as I loved that type of thing. Now if I want to go somewhere nice, when it's my birthday, say I choose somewhere, he'll just spend the whole time looking like he wishes that he wasn't there, or he'll moan about the cost at the end of the meal, and it ruins the experience for me. I suppose I do the same if Dan asks me to do something that I don't particularly like. I'll moan or agree, or sometimes I'll just say I don't want to do it. Which is a bit blunt, but I do. And recently he went to a football match, and then for Sunday lunch at his parents' house. He did ask me to go to that, but I just said I'd stay at home. But I sat all day at home feeling down, and I felt really sad. I had some cheese and toast for tea, and they were all sat having a lovely roast, and I thought, why did I say no? He came back all happy from being out with his friends, and I just felt really sad. It made me feel so far away from him. I do still love him, you see, but I'm not sure. I don't feel in love with him. I don't think I'm ready to give up on our relationship or on him. But I don't know whether it will ever be the same again.
You say that you love Dan. Can you take steps to talk with him openly and honestly about how you're feeling?
Oh, I know that is what I should be doing. I do need to be honest with him about how I'm feeling. I'm scared of doing it, to be honest. Especially as I think he's feeling the same way too. We just got into this awful rut. And the longer it continues, the less connected I feel to him. I suppose I've been avoiding having this conversation because it might be difficult for us both. Because I feel like if we do, it might end things, and really that's not what I want. Sometimes I feel like I want it to go back to how it used to be when we were first together.
Sometimes in a relationship, we just need to reconnect and go back to the start again.